Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Kamil Kuźmiak and in today's episode we're gonna make a real-life test of iPhone 13 Pro and see how cinematic it really is. Let's get to it. Okay guys, so finally I have the iPhone and it's ready for filming. If you were watching my previous episode, you know that I used to film with Samsung. I had Samsung Galaxy S10. I was quite unhappy with some of the things with the Samsung phone. I was upset with the fact that I couldn't use 4K 60 frames per second across all of the lenses. Also, Samsung didn't let me to take a full advantage of DJI Mimo app when I was using the gimbal, and I had many issues with Samsung, and now I feel like iPhone 13 Pro is the perfect tool for my needs. Actually, this is my first iPhone ever. I never had iPhone before, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm very happy with it. I'm very happy with the iOS, I'm very happy with the camera, with the quality. Yeah, I just love it. You probably know all the specification already, and today we're gonna focus on the real-life test. We're gonna go to the field and we are going to shoot some cinematic B-roll and edit it and just see how it's gonna work out. Long story short, it has the ultra-wide angle lens, the wide angle and the telephoto lens. This year telephoto lens give you 3 times optical zoom. Also, they gave us better sensor into that ultra-wide camera, which is great because this one is quite handy, especially if you want to shoot a vlog and you don't have a gimbal. All you have to do is open that ultra-wide camera and just hold your phone like this. Built-in stabilization is steady enough that you can walk and talk into the camera, and to be honest, I was shocked. It looks almost like you have a gimbal, it's so good. So that's like a massive game changer. And this year it's so much better in the low light. I think it's like 97% better, that's what they said. So it shoots 4K 60 frames per second across all of the lenses. You also have the slow motion up to 240 frames in 1080p. You can shoot in Dolby Vision, which is HDR video. But today I'm not going to be shooting in Dolby Vision because I don't have XDR monitor. I have 2015 MacBook, so I'm not able to properly edit the HLG footage. Also, many people, they don't have XDR display, so I think I'm not gonna jump on the HDR video train yet, because also the main camera I'm using, the Sony a6500, it's not shooting in HLG. So if I want to mix up my footage between the iPhone and the camera, I prefer to shoot everything in SDR, to be honest. I just like the look of the SDR, to be honest. Don't get me wrong, I've seen some nice HDR videos online on the HDR display and it looks cool. However, I just prefer the aesthetics of the regular SDR video. I'm not a big fan of Dolby Vision. I just think that the regular Rec 709 video can be good enough. Like, there is so many beautiful videos in Rec 709. For example, when you watch videos like Mountains Won't Remember Me by Peter McKinnon, it's not HDR video. It was shot on Red and it's super cinematic. It has beautiful landscapes and beautiful shots. And when I watch video like that, I'm never like, oh, if it was in Dolby Vision, it would be so much better. Like, I don't think it's necessary in my opinion. And maybe in a couple of years, when all of the cameras gonna be shooting in HDR and everybody gonna have that kind of display, maybe then I will start shooting in HDR and editing in HDR. But for now and for this real-life video, I'm gonna stick to the Rec 709 and we'll see how it goes. Okay guys, so now we're gonna go and shoot the cinematic video test, but before we need to put the phone on the gimbal. I think I will go with the Zhiyun Crane M2 today because I wanted to use the DJI Osmo Mobile 3 for this one, but I've noticed a problem. I've noticed something strange because I used to use Samsung with the counterweight. So the Samsung S10 is 200 grams and the counterweight was 60 grams. So I used to put 260 grams on this gimbal and it was working perfectly fine. And now I'm putting on the iPhone 13 Pro, and with the case, iPhone 13 Pro is 240 grams. I need to balance it quickly. Okay, now, so as you can see, the gimbal is perfectly balanced. And as you can see, everything seems to be working fine, but when I move the gimbal like that, I don't know if you can pick it up, I don't know if you can see in the camera, but basically, when I move the gimbal like that, I get this micro jitters, like this micro shakes. And at first I was thinking maybe this phone is too heavy for this gimbal, but as I said before, Samsung with the counterweight was 260 grams. This one is 240 grams, so the weight shouldn't be the issue. And I discovered that probably the MagSafe magnet, the magnet that you use to attach the MagSafe charger, is messing up with the gimbal motor. So basically, if this arm is getting close to the MagSafe magnet, then you get these micro jitters in the camera. And to prove it, I made an experiment and I put the phone on the other side. So instead of the magnet facing the mount, the screen was facing the mount of the gimbal. And then I didn't have no problem at all, no micro jitter, no shaking. So my theory is that the MagSafe magnet is messing up with the DJI Osmo Mobile 3. So the weight, it's manageable. And it's a shame because I love this gimbal, it's a great tool. Obviously you can go around this because when you hold it like that, then you're gonna get that micro jitters. But if you hold it like that, just slightly to the side, then you can do all the shots without any jitters, without any problems. But you need to remember to hold it like that. As soon as you're gonna keep it like that, you're gonna get that little micro jitters, and the iPhone stabilization seems to do a really good job with balancing that micro jitters. However, if you want to film in Filmmaker Pro and turn off the stabilization to get that wider field of view, it's not nice to have that problem. I'm still gonna use it, I will just remember to hold it like that, but for this particular video I want to bring out the big guns and use more powerful gimbal, and I will use the Zhiyun Crane M2 because the maximum payload of Zhiyun Crane M2 is around 720 grams, so it's gonna be able to overcompensate with the motors. And also the Zhiyun Crane M2 is doing the inception spinning shots. So let me just show you how to balance it on the Zhiyun Crane M2. Actually, in one of the previous episodes I showed you how to balance the Sony ZV-1 on the Zhiyun Crane M2, and I promised that I'm gonna make an episode how to balance your smartphone on the Zhiyun Crane M2, so I'm just gonna show you now. We have the gimbal, we have the tripod, we have the mounting plate, we have the tripod screw and the smartphone mount. So first you need to put the gimbal on the tripod and now attach the smartphone clamp onto your iPhone. Attach it so the clamp is right next to the lenses and the tripod mount is here at the bottom. The reason we do it like that because we want the lenses close to the motor, because then if you're gonna be doing the inception shot, the lens is gonna be in the middle of the spin. If the iPhone was other way around, the lenses would be on the outside of the spin, and instead of a spinning shot it would be rather a spiral shot. So remember, we're gonna mount the phone like this, and also it's gonna be easier to balance it like that. So now you can attach the plate with the screw. So we have this longer hole and the shorter one, so we use the longer one. And that bit that sticks out should be facing you when you look at the screen. So you need to unscrew the fix underneath the plate. Just press the silver button and slide the plate in all the way. Fix the screw underneath the plate. Alright, that's perfect, it's nice and secure. You can unscrew the red screw. You can lift it up. So the first thing you have to balance is this arm so the phone doesn't lean. I just move it all the way to the marker I previously put in. It is balanced, but it's going backwards. So I need to unscrew the screw underneath the phone, the mounting screw, and I need to move it forwards. And this is the most tricky one. Unlike the camera, it's difficult to balance the phone in this axis because it's either leaning to the front or to the back. So it's the matter of the millimeters. So you need to move it forward in the plate. It's still going backwards. And now it's leaning forward. So I need to counter it very slightly, just go backwards slightly. Now it's perfect. So let's just screw that in. And you also need to make sure that it stays with the camera facing upwards. And in order to balance this axis, you need to unscrew this fix here. You need to move it so it stays leveled with the camera facing to the ceiling. Now it's perfect. You also need to make sure that the gimbal isn't spinning. If you lean it forward like that, that's perfect. If it would spin like that by itself, then it's bad. And in order to balance it, you need to unscrew this fix right next to the bottom motor and move this bit forward and backwards. But now it's perfect, so we don't have to do anything about that. There is a power button at the side here, so you need to press it until you can see the logo on the screen. And now the gimbal is on. All right. So unlike the DJI Osmo Mobile 3 with Zhiyun Crane M2, I have zero micro shakes, zero jitter, everything works perfectly fine. As you remember with the Osmo Mobile 3, if you wanted to go down, you had to do this weird motion, and with this one, if you want to make a low shot, you just tilt it like your Ronin S or your other camera gimbals, which is in my opinion way more easier to remember than tilting the gimbal like this. Oh, you can't do it with this one because it doesn't work like that. And also it's very easy to film upside down like that. So you can go very close to the ground and film the grass. You can film someone's shoes when they're walking and have a nice, like, very low angle. And last but not least, if you hold the gimbal in the flashlight mode, press the M button twice, and then on the screen it says go, so you double press again, and then on the screen you can see the letter V, and that stands for the vertigo shot, so you can make your inception shots. I really like this gimbal. It's very lightweight yet powerful. You can use it for your iPhone, you can use it for the Sony ZV-1 and other small cameras. You can even use it for bigger mirrorless cameras like Sony a6500 or Sony a6600 or a6400, as long you're using a very lightweight pancake fixed focal lens or maybe some very lightweight zoom lens, you're gonna be fine even with a camera like that, as long it's below 720 grams. As you can see that the size-wise it's pretty much the same like the Osmo Mobile 3. The only downside is that this one is not folding in half, and that makes it less easy to store. However, it's not the worst, and I will show you why. So the smartphone dedicated gimbals like Osmo Mobile 3 or 4 or 5, they fold. So you can fold them in half just like that. As you can see, it's quite compact, especially when you remove the tripod. It's this small package. This one, it's pretty much the same size, but you can't fold it in half. But it doesn't mean that it can be portable as well, because there is a way to fold it and unfold it easily. Not in half, but you can make it safe for storage. So all you need to do is switch the gimbal off. You need to unscrew the red fix at the back. Then you need to lift the axis up and align all of the axes. So it can't be like this, it needs to be aligned. Align the axes like that and drop it down. And when you hear the click, all of them are locked in place. Then you screw the red fix and then switch off this little red switch. Give it a little spin, and now it's locked in place. It's locked in place, it's safe for storage. Obviously, it's not as small as folded Osmo, but if you remove the phone, because you're gonna remove the phone anyways, the difference is not that huge. Obviously, this one can fit in the small bum bag or something, but if you have a small backpack, it won't make a massive difference, because if you have this little tripod holder on the side, you can just throw it into the holder. The difference in size, it's not massive. The weight is pretty much the same, but the difference in power is massive. This one you can only use for lightweight smartphones, and this one you can use with all the big smartphones. You can use it for the small cameras like ZV-1, you can use it for bigger cameras like a6500 with the small lens. So this is a true powerhouse. It's only a little bit more expensive because this one is like, let's say if you buy the new model Osmo Mobile 5, you're gonna pay like £130, and for £200 you can have this beast of a gimbal. So Zhiyun Crane M2 may be a bit more versatile option for your smartphone if you plan to use some lightweight cameras as well. And the cool thing is that if you balance it once and you don't change anything, you don't have to balance it again. Let's say if I want to film again, all I have to do is to attach the tripod. Just put the phone all the way in so the phone is touching the motor, unscrew the red fix, lift the axes up so they can be free, just like that. Now move the back arm to the marker, close the red fix, turn the red switch, just power the gimbal, and that's it. You can film again with just a couple easy steps. Okay guys, as you can see, I'm ready to go, so let's go to the park and see what kind of cinematic footage we're gonna be able to get with the iPhone 13 Pro and the Zhiyun Crane M2. Let's get to it. Okay guys, welcome back. I just came back from shooting. I hope you liked the B-roll. I'm quite happy with the shots we were able to get. To be honest, I'm really happy with the iPhone 13 Pro. Actually, I can't wait for the new software update that's gonna allow to shoot in ProRes. I know that you can install the developer beta version of that update and use the ProRes in the Filmmaker Pro app, but I want to wait until Apple perfects everything and let us choose different flavors of ProRes, like ProRes Proxy, ProRes LT, ProRes 422, not only the ProRes HQ, because that one is like a monster and it's gonna swallow all the storage you have very quickly. Hi guys, I'm talking to you from the future. At the time I'm editing the vlog, the iOS 15.1 it's already here, and no, you can't choose between different flavors of ProRes, unfortunately, but in the next episode we are going to test out the ProRes codec. So what are my thoughts after using the iPhone 13 Pro for the first time for filming? The only bummer there was is that this new cool feature called the cinematic mode that lets you to create this artificial depth of field, the blurry background from the small sensor. I really love it, but you can only use it in 1080p. You can't use it in 4K. It would be so great if we could use it in the 4K or maybe at least like 2.7K and 24 frames per second. There is a couple different theories why we can't have it in 4K. One theory is that the iPhone doesn't have enough processing power to process the cinematic mode in 4K. Another theory is that probably because the edges of that cutout of the blur are not very good, especially around the hair and stuff. Maybe they only allow us to use it in 1080p because then that edge is not that obvious, but maybe in the 4K it would look absolutely horrendous. Maybe the Apple wants to roll out this feature slowly to give us the incremental improvements with the new models. If this phone is able to save the 4K ProRes footage, which is massive amount of data and massive bitrate, maybe it would be possible to save 4K footage in H.265 codec with that depth of field information from the LiDAR sensor and store it so we can upload it to Final Cut Pro on our Mac. Because if there isn't enough processing power in the iPhone itself to give us that real-life blur effect, it would be so great to do it afterwards in post. We could have a full control over it, even if sometimes it would be so glitchy and unusable. It wouldn't be a problem at all, because then we just wouldn't apply the effect. If it works perfect because there is no hair, somebody was wearing a hat and it works perfect, then we can leave it. In other shot, if it looks completely horrible, we just leave it off and keep this particular shot 100% sharp. Now it's a little bit of a dilemma, because now I need to think, do I want to shoot this in 4K, or maybe I want to shoot this in cinematic mode, but it would be nice to use the ultra-wide lens, and we don't have cinematic mode in ultra-wide lens, so it would be so great if we have some different codec that stores the video in 4K, compressed video, and stores the data from the LiDAR, and we put all of that together in iMovie or in Final Cut or Adobe Premiere on our computer using the processing power of the Apple Silicon. So I really hope the Apple will go in that direction and give us the option of cinematic mode in post-production. Okay guys, that's gonna be it for today's vlog. If you had fun, don't forget to leave the thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, because there is more content on the way. And see you in the next one.